Today we're looking at the GB or General British accent. Now firstly, if you've seen some of my other accent tutorials, you might know that there's a variety of different accents in the south of England, especially around the London area. We have Cockney, we have Estuary English, we have MLE or Multicultural London English, and we have Received Pronunciation or RP. Now of course there are plenty of accents from other regions, for example Geordie from Newcastle and Brummie from Birmingham, and these accents shouldn't be ignored. So what if there was an accent that combined the standardization of RP but also included regional variations such as Geordie or Northern English? Well, there is such an accent called General British English. Now, if I was a scientist, I might say, over here we have the formula for today's accent. So, if we say GB equals RP plus regional variations, then that is our equation for today. Now I'm so excited now to show you actually some features that we can use. So I'm going to show you 5 features. It's basically 4 features plus a bonus feature. Are you ready? Let's go. So the first feature is the Northern English, the Northern accent influence. And I've called it A or R. So depending on where you're from in the UK, you might say A as in path or R as in path. What I want to show you today is the, let's say, RP version and the regional variation version, so you can choose which one you would like to speak in, okay? So for example, the first word is mast, castle, plaster. Then in the Northern English regional variation, we might have path and mast. Which one do you prefer? Now there's a link in the description to a politician who speaks in an RP way but has some northern variations to his pronunciation from time to time. If you play the recording and you stop it at 2 minutes 15 seconds, you can hear the politician clearly say path, whereas the rest of the speech is something like RP. So often politicians and actors adapt their accent for whatever reason and sometimes sound quite different from actually the accent they grew up speaking. Alright, shall we move on to the next one? There's another northern influence, and that is the sound. In RP we would say and in Northern English it would be I'll give you an example. We could say in RP you would say pub. In Northern English you might say pub. And in RP you might say bus, and in Northern English you might say bus. So you could say, for example, in RP you might say, I took the bus home from the pub. And in Northern English you might say, I took the bus home from the pub. It's very difficult for me to say that. I've been trying. So that is feature number 2. So these are 2 classic features from Northern English that are acceptable in GB English because we allow regional variations, of course. Okay, let's move on to the London influence. And this one is called ng or n. Now there's a couple from the London influence that I want to point out, or London and the southeast. So the first one is definitely a London influence. And we've got 2 words. In RP you might say working and singing. Did you hear the ing sound at the end? Ing. And in London In regional London accent, you might say workin' and singin'. And you don't say working, it's workin'. I've got a video of Sadiq Khan, who is the Mayor of London, the current Mayor of London, and he speaks in very much a GB accent with London regional influence. And I mean, I can't play it because of copyright reasons, but you can play it yourself. The link is in the description. At 23 seconds, Sadiq Khan says, working. And he clearly says it. You can see for yourself and hear for yourself. Sadiq Khan speaks in quite a standard way, but he has these regional features that show that he's definitely from London. Now, the Kent influence on GB. So I'm going to call this the R sound. So there is a way in the southeast of England and in Kent to actually modify how you say an R sound before a syllable. Okay, so I will give you some examples. I'm going to show you the RP variant and the regional Kent variant. Here we go. RP. Red. Rose. Already. Right. Kent regional variation. Red. Rose. Already. But the simple fact is that in RP, when you say a R sound, let's say, your tongue, R, R, right? Your mouth is closed, R, and your tongue points up and almost touches the roof of your mouth. And in the Kent version, your top set of teeth, you put them over your bottom lip. Red, red. You see? And to be honest, I have no idea why people do this. I haven't found out the actual reason why they do this. They just do. And it's actually pretty popular these days to do that. Now, the other one is called creaky voice. In American English, they like to call it vocal fry. Like, I guess your voice is frying in a frying pan, you see. That's creaky voice, right? That's quite a hard creaky voice. But there are different levels of how to do creaky voice. Now, a lot of people think creaky voice is a new phenomenon, but it's absolutely not at all. It's been around for a very long time, and in fact it has always been a feature of conservative RP, which I've also done a video for, and you can click on the link above or look in the description below, because I've done a video on conservative RP. But I'll point out that actually creaky voice has always been a part of, it used to be more for male speakers, supposedly to show their status, their power, whatever you like to call it, when they're speaking. And when you go, if you go like this, your voice starts to creak, right? It starts to wobble. Your vocal cords start wobbling. I mean, if I want to creak, I creak. Now, apparently the most severe of creaky voice is from the film The Shining, and the little boy, when he's saying, red rum, red rum, red rum, red rum, like that, that is the most severe kind of creaky voice that you can imagine. So that is the end of the tutorial today, and I hope you really enjoyed thinking about accents. And if you like the tutorial, you could like the video, couldn't you? By just clicking. And you can subscribe to the channel, because I always upload. I really am focusing now. I've decided that I'm going to focus solely on accent tutorials, and I'm going to work my way around the British Isles, and there'll be a lot of comparison with British accents and other accents, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Join me for the journey. You and your language and your accent can be flexible.